Let's talk a little bit about how you use Padlet. So you'll visit Padlet.com. You'll click the login button in the upper right. You will click login with Google, and you, since you're signed into a Chromebook, should just have to choose your name. Now, if you get a pop-up at all that says anything about what kind of account do you want to choose, just choose the free account. Next thing you'll do is in the upper left-hand corner, you'll click on Make a Padlet. You'll now have a choice of what you want your Padlet to look like as far as the background. So you can start with one of their blank designs, or you can choose a template from the ones below. I'm just going to go ahead and start with their wall. That's the one that kind of looks like a brick layout. So Padlet loads. The first thing I want to do on the right side is I want to name my Padlet. So I will name my Padlet after whoever my project is about, and then I would also make sure I include my name. In the description box, add any short description, maybe a short biography, a couple of sentences about your person. Now that I have my title and my description, it's time for me to choose my wallpaper. I have these 4 basic ones here. As I click them, you'll see the wallpaper changes on the left, and then I have even more underneath. So you may want to try to find one that is appropriate for your person, your subject. For example, me doing Sally Ride, it probably doesn't make a lot of sense to use like a random one that has donuts. Sally Ride didn't really have anything to do with donuts, but maybe something with a map or space theme might work for her. Now that I've chosen my wallpaper, I'll click the arrow and I'll go back to my main screen. Now it's time to set the theme and the font style. So below you have 2 choices for theme. I have light or dark, and then I have my font styles, as well as what I want the icons to look up as I add things to my Padlet. And you'll see that there's a more button there as well. You can ignore everything else past the fonts and the icons, and you can ignore everything else past the next. So I'm just going to simply click close now. I can always come back to that by clicking the little wheel cog in the upper right hand corner. So now I'm going to start adding stuff to my Padlet. I have a couple of options to do this. I can click the plus, or I can just double click anywhere on the Padlet to start adding my first box. Now that I have my first box, you'll see I have some information I need to fill in. I have a title for the box, and I have an area that says write something. So my title might be something as simple as childhood, and then write something. I might talk a little bit about her education, where she was born, all that kind of stuff that would apply to her childhood. So you'll see I have a couple of things added to my Padlet now, one about her childhood, one about her college years, and I'm working on this new box now. I want to point out that in the bottom right hand corner of the box as you add them, remember adding is just double clicking somewhere, there are 3 dots. When you click on that, you can add some things to your box. So you can add a file if you had a file from the computer. You can add a link, so if you wanted to link out to maybe a site that had more information about your person. I can have a snapshot from my camera, which probably wouldn't make sense for this. Same thing with the film. If I wanted to record my voice and have just a small voiceover where I'm talking a little bit about my person, I could do that. And I can also include a drawing or a map. You're most likely not going to be linking to another Padlet or doing any sort of screen recording for this. Adding an image is easy. I'm going to go back to this one about the college years. I'm going to edit that post, and I have, again, under the 3 dots, I can either click Google image search, or I can click this little magnifying glass here, which will bring up a Google search. Over here, I can search for Sally Ride, Stanford University, since that's where she went to school. Maybe I know that this is a picture of her as she started studying science and made that switch from studying English. I'll go ahead and add that. So now I've added a picture to the college years section, and I went in and added a map to the childhood section. And for the map, again, under the 3 dots, I can drop down to add a location. I would just search for Encino, California. And then I can just add that by hitting save, and it adds it directly to the map. Changing the color of your notes as you add them to Padlet, that is found by going and clicking the 3 dots, and you'll see you have a couple of options here as far as colors, so I can go ahead and change those. If you need to share your finished Padlet with your teachers, in the upper right hand corner, you'll click the Share button, go to the Share, Export, Embed tab, and then you can just click the copy link to this Padlet. That link that you copied then can be shared directly with your teacher.